She is here. We are here. And we are fabulously happy because ATL has walked in the door and kicked it wide open without every woman. I believe, I declare, I heard her name is, what her name be, Kim? Can you tell her who she be?
Anisa Nyell Johnson.
Wow, hello, lovely. How are you?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Good. Wait a minute. You said her name was Anissa.
Anisa.
Wait a minute. No, she looks like Jennifer. Wait a minute. Do
no. Let us see.
No. You will let us see today. You let us see today. But she looks like Jennifer to me. Wait a minute. Can you do this for a minute? Do like this. And then I want you to go, I don't like. Ooh. Go ahead. Do it.
I don't like. Ooh.
Yeah, I told you. That you told me. You didn't tell me Jennifer was coming on today. You didn't tell me Jennifer was coming on today. But see, that's when every woman, you can pretend and play everything. Actress, producer, mommy, wifey. You just woman.
Hey, I gotta do what I gotta do.
ATL, but you know what? I must say, it's only because you came the Philly way anyway. So you
know.
Right. That thing was already better than breeding Philly, and then
Philadelphia, baby.
Rapping.
And West Philadelphia.
On the playground is where I spend most of my days. Maxing, relaxing, chilling. Yep, no. I'm not gonna steal from you, Will. I promise. I got you.
Oh, he got us. It's a Philly thing. We share. It's a brother sisterly love thing going on. So go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh,
but where the music at?
I bet you're gonna do it, Kim.
Wait a minute. I got you.
So Shauna, I didn't put in there dancer choreographer.
Wait a minute. I was doing the music. Wait a minute. Y'all ready? I'm gonna try it. One.
Give us a house beat. It gotta be a house beat.
Oh,
I can't stand up.
No beatbox.
Oh,
dun. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now everybody's stopping on the block and everybody wants to say hi to me now. I have no idea who that was that said hello, but hopefully they'll come on the show and say, I seen you. So again, welcome to the show. So glad to see you. So glad you're here. Ebony is in the house. And yes, my jury lady is watching. So yes, I'm representing, sponsored, and brought to you by the jury lady, paparazzi style. Okay.
Beautiful.
Advertisement.
Yeah. I'm just trying to tell you, you just can't be beautiful all day by yourself. Sometimes the glamour of the glitter and the bluesies, you notice it goes with my outfit. It just flows like that.
Lovely.
Just
how you doing?
We got our paparazzi thing going on today. So understand, I need you to understand. Support your black paparazzi ladies. Yes. Support. So talking about support, you are the bomb. When I looked at your profile and I saw that dash that you have, some people got this dash, that, but it was funny because I said, your dash is awesome. She was like, wait a minute. Dash?
All right, you trying to make me sound old because I am, but I'm okay with that because I was like, what's the dash?
No, don't feel bad. What's the Shauna thing? So the dash, because look, Kim like dash. What's that?
Look, I don't feel alone. Your hair looks beautiful, by the way, Kim. And you're my love.
Thank you.
I know she got the little thing on her. Go ahead. Flip that Z. Flip that Wonder Woman look. Go ahead.
Yeah, go.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yes. Ooh, I missed that.
One more time. Wait a minute, I gotta bring you up to the screen. So wait a minute. Here you go.
Oh,
the Wonder Woman.
Yes, I'm about to say, where's your bracelet? Wasn't that your lasso? I thought you was your lasso. That was
Oh,
your
did you think it was an extended lasso?
Okay. You got to break it.
Yes. So getting right down to it again. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Like we called you and you was like, yes. I was like, yes. You like, yes. Just like that. I said, okay. We like Wednesday. You like Wednesday. We was like, oh. Okay.
No, so what had happened was
what happened?
Tell the truth. The whole thing.
This is what happened. I said, hey, bestie, you come on Wednesday? She was like, what's up? I said, well, the sister chat. She was like, oh, okay. I said, can you do it? She said, like, like, how? Like,
what's that look like?
On BU, sister, woman to woman, let your hair down. She was like, oh, let me check my calendar. Yes, I'm available. I'll have my people call your people.
I need you to
which did a little something like this. Hello. Yes. You want me to see Anisa? Is that correct? Yes. Yeah, I'm good with it. Go ahead, tell her I'm good with it. She's good with it. Like
pretty much that's how it happened. So we are blessed to have her today.
Yes.
I don't think the world, I don't think, but I know the world doesn't realize who we have before us today. They don't understand. But we want to make them understand that. Really, she's homebred. Atlanta, you have been privileged to be in her company. Yeah, it's personal for me because she was mine before she was y'all.
You are a little stingy. It's all good.
I am. But I don't care.
You deserve it.
Because I understand. I understand.
So talking about understanding, I believe before we had the pleasure of being in your presence today, life happened.
Did it? That's how life goes in my world all the time. It's always ever flowing, ever going.
We listening. Go ahead, honey.
You want some tea? I got the tea.
Hold on.
Get that tea.
You got some tea.
Not exactly.
Chick-fil-A. I got my drink. Listen. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, yeah. Tell your story and then we'll tell our disclaimers. You got yours? I got mine.
Yes.
Oh, she got Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, always. That's why I moved to ATL because they had Chick-fil-A. Bring a little Philly with me.
But you know what? I couldn't get to the Chick-fil-A, because it seemed like they're always a layaway.
Oh.
So
we got them every corner here.
What?
Yes.
Give me another reason to move to ATL. Give me another reason.
Mm-hmm. I can go any which way. There's a Chick-fil-A waiting for me at the other corner. Yep.
What? Absolutely. Okay, we're going to talk about that Chick-fil-A thing after you talk about the life thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, so where y'all want me to start at? Last week or today?
Wherever you want to go. We got time. We laying back. Go ahead.
Oh, we'll start from last week. Last week, my son, my oldest, my firstborn.
Let me get my neighbor's house off the block first.
Yes.
Okay. So, go ahead.
Yeah, my firstborn moved into college. He moved out of here and moved into his dorm room, which was its own little feat, trying to pack him up in one night because mama or somebody didn't plan properly. I thought I did because I was buying things here and there, little at a time, but apparently it wasn't enough. So we go ahead, we move them in, me and my husband. And when we get there, we realized we was missing some stuff, some important stuff.
Like a refrigerator?
No, we were good with that. See, because we went and got that on the way down. We was missing stuff like toilet paper. Mm-hmm. Important stuff. Mm-hmm. Boy gotta, if he gonna stay there the first night, So he's missing like things like that, some food to put in that refrigerator. We had no snacks, no nothing. But we had, I had his curtains, his bedding, had majority of the important, what I considered important, but not the essentials. So we had to go run around. We left literally after getting his dorm room together that night. I think we left at midnight. No, 12. I got home at 12:30 a.m. So that was an all going situation. So running around all week with that. And then of course, COVID got us tripping over here a little bit, but
didn't all of the kids started school, right?
Yes. Well, kinda. Yes. My Ty started back again this week because, as you know, his school was all over CNN, World News, Good Morning America. Yeah, we North Paulden. God bless us. So there's no mask mandates where we're at. Yeah. Oh, and TMZ. I forgot TMZ. That's important. That's how it started.
Wait.
Time out. Technical flag on the play.
No mask. And your baby is in a whole nother location. No mask during the pandemic.
Yup. No mask in the high school. No mask in the elementary. But they wearing more masks in the elementary than they are in the high school.
I'm going to go back for just a minute, and I'm going to take us back in time. And I'm going to go to this game called Mother May I. So, Mother, may I ask?
Yes.
How is your sanity right now knowing that he is in a location where there is no mask?
You know what? Let's keep it 100.
And I'm bringing you up to the camera because I think everybody needs to hear this.
Okay. I'm going to keep it 100. At first, I think I was a little shook by certain things because the option wasn't as clear as I would have wanted it to be. As far as virtual versus going in. I have one of my sons, he has a learning difference. I have 3 boys, by the way, let's clarify. So one of my sons has a learning difference and he's in elementary school. And then my middle son, like I said, is in high school and he could have did virtual. He's honors. It's not that tough for him. But my younger son, his learning style, it would not have worked. We tried that. And the fact that their virtual learning is not like some of the other private schools, like where you actually are in the room with your teacher. So, that would have worked. But because that's not how it's set up, and you would have basically been teaching yourself, for a kid that has a learning difference, that wouldn't work for him. So I had to have a good, long, hard talk with my husband and God. And we came up with some plans. And that's actually why I am sane. Because I put it before God. That's the only reason. God and being like-minded with my spouse, my husband, and coming up with a clear plan for us here in our house. Because I have underlying health conditions. And we live in a multi-generational house. So my mother-in-law lives with us as well. And so she's a lot older. And then me with high blood pressure, as well as I have something called iritis, which a lot of people don't know about. Look it up. It's really good to know because not a lot of people have it. It's considered an autoimmune disease, and we don't know what triggers it. So I rarely wear a lot of makeup around my eyes, even though I act. That's usually the only time I usually have the face beat a little bit. So because we don't know what triggers it, so less things around my eyes is important. But yeah, I keep putting God first in everything that I do, especially when it comes to the kids. So I pray every morning with them. Our actual plan, people thought I was crazy when we were doing this, but now as you see on television, they tell you to wear, especially when you live in a multi-generational house, they're saying wear masks in the house. Well, we were already doing that. My husband came up with a plan that he has going on at work, so he brought it home, which was we have different cleaning stations in our house. So there's a station as soon as you come in that I have one of those defoggers. So as soon as you come to the door, you get defogged. You come into the dining room area, there's a cleaning station, as well as you have a bucket of masks there just in case you forget yours. And we have hand sanitizer, sprays, everything in different sections of the house, throughout the house, every room, in the middle, dining room, as soon as you come in. So when the kids come home from school, and rewind back to my son. So my son's high school, they now have implemented where he'll go Monday, Wednesday, I think it's A to K. Letters, alphabets A to K go Monday, Wednesday. The rest of the alphabet goes Tuesday, Thursday, and then everybody's home on Friday. So you'll homeschool on your days off, quote unquote. And then when you're in the class, you're actually in the class. So that's a lot easier. So it cut the population in half. So you can social distance a little better, not completely, but a lot better than what you saw on TV. So I constantly tell my kids to wear their masks. They're kids. So I doubt 100% they're keeping it on, especially since it's not mandated. But I know for a fact that my youngest, he does his best. My high schooler, I know when he comes through the door, he has it on. I know when he leaves out the door, he has it on. In between, I'm not quite sure. So everybody in my house is quarantined, basically. So when you walk out of your bedroom, you have a mask on at all times. So that's how we roll in my house. We've been doing that since day one. So everybody got to wear a mask. I defog the routine. As soon as you walk up to the door, I meet you at the door outside. You hand me your book bag. I defog your book bag. I then have you stand with your arms out, and I make you put your head back and you're defogged from the back. Turn around, do the front. Sit on the chair, take your shoe off one at a time, hand it to me. I defog one, sit it outside, defog the other, sit it outside. Then you hand me your mask. I defog that and then go in and I wash it. They go straight into their room, take their clothes off, put it in their bin, that's in their room, and they immediately take a shower and wash their hair and change their clothes. That's the system every day. And I wash their masks. Unless they have the blue one on, the hospital mask, then I take that. I don't touch that one. They have to throw it away. So, and I wash my hands, of course. And I have my mask on while doing all of this. And they have to take their book bags to their bedrooms. So, and their shoes can come in after they've been out there for, I don't know, several hours or the next day. So that's every day. Imagine having to be that consistent, which, I ain't really down like that, but I've adjusted. That's my new norm. And we've been good. We've been technically COVID free, thank God. But that's what we do. We don't have people coming over the house like that at all. We don't throw parties. We don't do that. We don't do none of that. And if somebody does come over, they have their mask on. They're more than 6 feet away from us. There's no hugging. There's no touching. And it's rare. I think since COVID started, we've only had 2 families come by. Like actually came in the house. And when I say families, it'd be like the mother, father, and their little baby. And that's about it. And then and then the other person came in by herself. So yeah, nobody's rolling up in the house. And that's how we do. And I defog the house.
So all that going on every day.
Yeah.
It's smart. And then
something happened today. Before we jump to that, because what they've been doing changed the norm of not just the household, but the relationships within the household.
Absolutely.
Because it's one thing to social distance outside amongst other people, but when you come home, that's your safe space. That's your comfort zone. That's your place, And then when you have children, and then especially your children are used to, like, they come and they see their mom, one of the first things they do is give her a kiss on the cheek, give her a hug, or do whatever. To have to adjust and consciously make that decision as a family, I know that plays heavy on emotion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe not even always spoken, but it's.
Oh, it is. Can I say something to that?
Yeah, because there's a reason why I led you straight to that, because I'm going to bring all that and tie that into one knot, because it's going to help the audience to understand the point of why a woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's layers to it. It is not easy. Trust and believe. Especially for my youngest, he's a hugger, he's a lover. He's a, oh, mom, I want to be under you, like that's just how he is. He's a lover, he's a touch, he touches. He wants to hug, hold, kiss. He's sweet like that. So, oh, hey, I see somebody in the back. What up, Frank? But anyway, so yeah, so because of that,
thank you.
we don't get to have that connection like we used to. We find other ways, but I found like last week I made the conscious choice to, like, look, he needs a hug, period. We both had our mask on. I prayed about it. I said, look, he needs it. God gonna have to cover no matter what. And the reason why people are like, well, that's your kid, you should be able to hug your kid. No, there's layers to that. He's now in a place where they don't wear masks. Kids can still be susceptible to it, but it's not the same. Now, although he does have asthma, that's something I pray over him about. He's never had an asthma attack, but he was diagnosed with it. So I pray about that all the time when he goes in there. So I had to make a conscious decision and say, look, God, he needs a hug. And if you could have, he just it was everything to him. And he took it, held it, kept it, and he held on to it. You know what I mean? That blessed him. And God covers. I honestly believe he covers. Now, is that something I'm going to do every single day right now, the way that it is? No, it's not an everyday thing, which normally it is an everyday thing for me and him, several times in a day. And so, whereas my other kids, they, my oldest, he good. What up, mom? We like, he's not an over lover. I mean, I did hug him when I left him at school now. But I love the system they have at his college. You have to wear your mask. It's mandated at KSU.
Okay.
They have that where if it's like a 3 strikes you out rule. We see you without your mask twice. The third time, you got to go. I love it. It makes people responsible. You got to have it when you're in any room. Like if you're in like outside of your suite / dorm room, you got to have your mask on. They only like two people in the elevator at a time. They got circles everywhere. That's exactly 6 feet. Only but so many people can be in their store. They have people watching. They got cameras everywhere. They not playing.
Good.
They want it. Anybody, anytime you come into one of their properties, you have to have your mask on. Period. They gave the kids masks. They have KSU written all over it. It's cool. Like they came prepared with hand sanitizer bags for them, like everything, care packages for them. So it made things a lot more comfortable, although the majority of his classes are online. So he's in his suite.
Yeah.
But they know college students.
Mm-hmm.
Free spirited. You ain't home with mom and dad. You in school, like you on your own. So you're going to be with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be congregating. That's just the norm.
But they not having it there.
Right.
It's shut down. Like that, right. That particular school.
Good.
It's only, they ain't allowing people to be all up under each other unless they roommates, like literally roommates. You could be standing near your roommate potentially, but you got to still have space. Like they not even, like when you're outside, I don't think you have to have your mask on. I saw everybody with their mask on. I don't know. Maybe that's an option, but when you walk in their property, like into their buildings, you have to have your mask on. until you're actually in your dorm suite. So they not playing.
Is that a private university or public?
No, that's public. That's mandated for all the at least the public schools in Georgia, the colleges.
But that's what I'm saying.
Georgia State has it. Same thing.
If the colleges are taking those precautions, why is it so difficult for high schools, middle schools, and elementary schools to follow suit? Because they are systems that are in place. You do have something to kind of match.
Exactly. And you see what's working. You should see what's working. I'm not going to name names, but I have a friend of mine who works in like a high risk area, and one of their coworkers had it, but that's something they got, I believe, outside of work, and they were around that person, but they also had their mask on. So when two people have their mask on, it makes a difference. That person's test didn't come back positive; it came back negative, so they're good. You know what I mean? So I mean, it helps you, but you got like that's like it's a known fact. From what I've seen, you wear your mask, you cool. It takes
also something to do with the age limit and the demand of the responsibility of doing and being. I think that may also probably have something to do with it, because
no, I'm sorry, not here.
So this is why I think
that's the problem.
This is why I think this, because so I'm only going by experience. So let's put our disclaimer out there real quick. The disclaimer is my truth is not necessarily your truth.
Exactly.
So what I may say may be for me, but it may not be for you. However, just because I said it don't mean I'm pushing what I say on you. So this is the smorgasbord.
Yes.
You can eat as much as you want. If you see something you like, you eat it. If not, you move to the other tray. And Kim will say,
eat the meat, spit out the bone.
Damn. If you just so happen to see Kim doing that right there, and this and that and this, she about to explode. So just let her have it.
All you, boo.
So just go with it. So that's our disclaimers.
Okay.
Our disclaimers is just because it means that to me, it doesn't necessarily mean that to you. And we're not saying that we're all right. We're not all saying that we're all professionals. We're all speaking from our experience and our truths.
Exactly.
So therefore, with that being said, okay.
Everybody got access to masks now. So yes. I don't want to hear it isn't there, because they're there for everybody.
They're there for consumption. Every place has it for consumption now. I mean, where was I at? Was it Target the other day? No, was it Target? I was at Target. I was at the Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree got a smorgasbord of types of masks. You can get the cloth ones. You can get the doctor's ones. They $1. 2-pack for $1. So you can get them anywhere. They're giving away at urgent care. You go to urgent care, you roll up in there. Here you go. You go to right there.
So here's where I was going with it. So I see the kids out here, and I've seen some of the high schoolers that wants to go back to school. I've seen the college students that have gone and some that hasn't.
Right.
Now, some of the kids are like, they're not wearing a mask. They're just not wearing it.
Right.
So when you go to school and you have that attitude in the high school and the elementary level, and they're not pushing that and they're not fighting that because they don't have the eyes like the college is, like the college that your son goes to, you run into those problems where they're saying, no, I can't do that because I can't monitor them and monitor my school. So some people are using that as a crutch to say, I can't. So therefore, it says, I can't, I won't. Then you have some what got the boundaries where Georgia says, oh, we can. But then throw it out there. Texas saying, no, we can't. Well, Georgia's saying, well, I'm the mayor of mine, and this is what we're doing. Texas saying, well, I'm the mayor of mine, so this is what we're doing. So I think it has a lot to do with a lot of that too, because
preference. A lot is definitely preference.
And I think that's
even with
reasons.
Even with mandates, it's exactly that. It's a mandate. It's not a law. So some people say, well, it's not a law, so I don't have to.
Right.
And then they fuck up against the system. However, what I will say is, if you have teenagers and young people going to school saying, well, it's not a law, it's only a mandate, they listen to their parents.
Right.
They're getting this information and it's trickling down. Absolutely. Because if I know from working with young people, elementary school, if you tell them that something is like not right, they're going to follow what you say. They're going to put on their gloves. They're going to put on their, pull out their tissue, do whatever they need to do because that's what they are told to do.
Exactly.
If they buck up against that, it's, well, my dad said I ain't have to. My mom said I ain't have to. Well, when I'm at home and outside, I'm still playing. It's all about the parents, what they are allowing them to do. Right. And so I commend Anisa on her and Andrew. I commend you guys on that because a lot of people, even without, none of us are really sure, but it's a protective measure to ensure that my family's good. And everybody might not agree with how you do what you do.
Right. Oh, I'm sure they don't. I have people think it's overkill. But you know what? I'd rather be doing overkill than be killed.
Amen.
Well, hold on. Ebony just said there are a lot of people who sadly still believe this pandemic is a hoax.
Can I speak to that after you done? I was going to say, go ahead. You want to go?
I was going to say, I have personal experience. Friends, close friends, people dying. There's nothing hoaxical about coronavirus.
Exactly.
COVID-19. It is real, right?
Yeah.
I've personally had conversations with people who I didn't know contracted it, but then they shared their story. So this thing is real. There is nothing fake about it. It is real.
Yeah.
So those people who now what I do believe is that there are a lot of people who believe that COVID exists, but they play a whole lot of different theories around it to justify why they won't follow mandates. It's not that they don't believe it's true. It's a whole lot of things because when this thing came out and even still, they're still trying to figure stuff out because nobody really knows everything about it. That's what makes them think that it's like, or whatever. When they finally get it together, where they can finally tell us for sure and prove it, then okay. Ebony also says a lot of young people say this is something that only old people get. These are all...
I know several people. I know kids that got it. I know kids that are sick that got it, that didn't have underlying conditions. I know I've lost family members to it. I even had people in my church that's lost recently, like as of this week that just passed, lost their niece and their brother. Like different people are losing people to this. And I know people of all races and ages that are getting it. So the other piece that people forget, that when it comes to any disease, it wants to survive just like it's human. So that's why you have different strains of flu. There's a potential that there's different strains to this. That's why some people get sicker than others. And you have these kids that are getting really sick with something that's related to it.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I honestly believe people won't take it seriously until it gets close to home, and it shouldn't have to take that.
Right. It
shouldn't have to take that.
I
It
agree.
should not have to take that. I personally would not want to see somebody lose a loved one when they could have prevented it. Just like the young man who lost both his mother and his dad. Like that's not okay.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And you think, well, what could there have been something that could have been done? I think potentially there could, but that's a what, shoulda, woulda, coulda, what if. We don't have time for that.
The fact is that it's here.
Right. And so that's a big loss for this young man. So now he's 18, having to figure his way out
By himself.
by himself. I'm sure there's people stepping up now for him, but that's not the same as having your mom and your dad. Period. So that's my take on that. I just feel like here in Georgia, it just depends. Like they're saying it's not mandated. I also speak to neighbors and people that I know that believe, just like I believe, if you could tell a kid they can't wear a short skirt, you can make it part of your regiment that a mask goes with what you wear to school. If you can say I can't have a baseball cap on while I'm in class, or if I can't have a hoodie on, then you can also say I can have a mask on. If I have to wear a uniform, or if I have to wear shorts to gym and sneakers, then I can also have to wear a mask. If you can see that I don't have my shorts on and you making a note that I don't have shorts on, I ain't come prepared for class, then you can easily say I ain't have a mask on, I ain't come prepared for class.
So the schools, the principals can put those things into place.
Oh, they can do anything. The governor could have did it.
But this is the deal, though. If their money is at stake, and if they don't get a certain quota of attendance for a certain period of time, there's a certain amount of money that school loses, or that district loses.
Yeah. That's why you had to have. Ooh, it's a serious talk. That's why you had to have 70% of kids going to school.
That's
to be able to get that amount of money that President Trump was giving out to the schools. I think it was like 35 schools was doing it or whatever. That's why you had 70%. People don't pay attention to numbers. Numbers matter. And that was the quota. Oh yeah, we're doing good because 70% of kids want to go to school. Okay. And then all of a sudden, the virtual side. No, it's true. It was true.
No, I said, but that's not okay.
No, but they wanted probably also to back out when they realized what was going on, but that wasn't available. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't a lot of things weren't as clear as they should be. But then it got clear. And I know some people don't like the idea of what Hannah did. God bless Hannah. I don't care what nobody say. Some people said that's not how it should have went down. It maybe not. I don't care. But it could have saved lives. That's all
Hannah is the young lady from North Paulding High School.
Whistleblower.
She's the one who videoed what was happening, and it went viral. And that's how it made it to Good Morning America, TMZ, all of those. And CNN has even brought her back since then.
A lot.
And her whole stance is, they may say that it was bad, but it was a necessary bad. Like, it was something I had to do.
John Lewis.
Right. Like, somebody had to do
good trouble.
Good trouble.
That's what she quoted. Good trouble.
But not only that, you also got to remember, you got your thing ones and your thing two. You tell them not to, they're going to do. And then there's that one big thing that we haven't said. It's called responsibility.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be held responsible for whatever happens as a result of making the decision. So they're deciding not to make any decisions at all. Let me throw up here real quick, and then I'm going to move over for just a second because I still want to address this whole thing in a knot. And when we address it, you're going to understand why I kept saying we need to scoop right back so we can scoop right back up in here. And I'm going to tell you why in 1 second, because she said, you want to read it, Kim?
Ebony says, sadly, there was an incident in Sesame Place amusement park in Pennsylvania this past weekend. A teen staff member had a broken jaw after a couple from New York assaulted him and broke his jaw because they were asked to wear a mask several times and refused, and were then asked to leave the park. They were arrested this morning.
There I go. I just said it. You got
that happened. I didn't hear about that.
And New York, you're from New York and you don't get it? Like
you got thing 1 and thing 2. It doesn't matter what's going on. And then you got to also remember, some of it is not really compared to what the parents said. When it first came out, it was told, and that's what everybody is saying. That's not what they said when we first heard it. We first heard it, it wasn't our disease. Now is all they know is our disease. Then it wasn't supposed to be for the kids, but now you're hearing that kids is dying. But again, and I don't care what nobody say, again, my disclaimer was thrown out of there. I'm only still getting records that claim to what's going on here. I'm not getting records to where it initially came from. But then you want to sit here and tell me that you got these vaccines, and now if we don't take the vaccines, we're going to get arrested, and they got to get the vaccine. Oh yeah, it's out there. But see, this is all.
Jim is.
Okay, she's blowing up.
Oh, yeah, she is. I feel it.
So while I was getting my hair done today,
oh wow,
I was watching GMA, their brunch hour.
Oh well,
and they had a doctor on there who was talking about this very topic and how. They said, according to the percentages at this point, once a person of color is admitted into a hospital, their death rate is the same as any other nationality. So just because they're African American does not mean that their likelihood of dying is more. One of the big things, and again, this whole thought process of Black people being more at risk, or people of color being more at risk, it started with 2 French doctors when this first came out. And they said, let's test African people. Let's go to Africa. Let's run these vaccines and these trials on them because they can't afford good health care. So something you have not tried yet, you're going to send to Africa, right? That bothered me when I heard it the first time. And both of y'all know me very well. That irked my spirit. Because I'm like, well, the percentages of positive COVID tests in Africa at that point was like 1%. You're talking about an entire continent and only 1%. But you're in France and you're right next to Spain. And Spain is the hot spot.
Okay. That part.
But you don't want to add to the fatalities and then say, okay, because you did this, then those people died. But you rather just fluke it off and say, okay, go to Africa.
Take that word again.
As soon as it hit America and it started growing after it left New York, then it's when they started talking, like the Surgeon General comes on and he's like, hey, everybody, I'm a Black man. I need y'all to tell Mama and Pop and little cousin Boo Boo, to be careful because y'all know we like that fried chicken, and y'all know it causes heart disease, and y'all know if y'all got heart disease, you know what this corona gonna do to you. It was like a puppet, and I watched this, and it vexed my soul because now he's pumping that same story. They started Black folk. This is more detrimental to Black folk. Then I'm going to fast forward to just 2 days ago. I watched a video with and somebody was interviewing him.
With who?
Bill Gates. I mean, his son. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about vaccines. And no, population control. Their thought was, his thought was, well, you know, by 2050, the general population of the world is going to be about 14.7 billion people. And while it may not be so bad in Western countries that are more contemporary and more industrial, and, you know, we might not have issues with that. But countries like Uganda and Gad and Nigeria and Benin and the Congo, well, because those people are less fortunate, well, they can't afford to have more children. And so what we think we could suggest to them is, well, maybe you only focus on having 2 children, mother, instead of your natural 7 that, or, you know, maybe we could curve how you populate and how you what we actually provide for you. So this right here, instead of telling them how to maintain their families by cutting their population, how about you bring in the resources so that their standard of living would be better?
Exactly.
You understand? So things like that, when you hear it coming from the horse's mouth, and they show you these maps and these figures, and but why Black people?
So yeah, can I cut in for a minute? Can I?
Sure, you know I can go all night on that.
Can I cut in for a minute? I need to part this like the Red Sea for just a second.
There you go. I'll be the water.
Number one situation being that we do have big families, but did they ever remember the reason where all this started? Well, why we have big families? Okay. Number two, so it goes right back to my frame of thinking. So you really do want to make this like China, where China can tell you how many kids you can have, and because we're not communists. Okay. So then it goes even further to bring it back to the mere fact that I'm going to come back over, and now I'm going to go way back in the water, and I'm going to cross through and go back under the underground and come back out on the water side before the gun. And now I'm going to remember where we were picking, you know.
You're about picking cotton.
Yeah. Why you took us was because you was trying to do something in your land that you stole that we was doing in a land that we actually own. So you went and got us because y'all was dying, again, trying to do something that we was doing in our land that you was trying to do in your land that was stolen. And you brought us over here so that we could do what we were doing over there without us dying from those deadly diseases. So now you want to remember and think that because you erased some stuff out of history and you didn't teach us some stuff out of history, that some of us you thought didn't know about some of this stuff in history, and now it's repeating itself. Now, can we bring it to a full fold? Why are you testing Black folk? The same reason why you came and got us from the boat and put us in the yard and started having us work in the yard, because you knew our immune system. You want to go there. You really want to go there. Let's bring it about the health condition. Let's really tell the truth about the situation. But before I go even further, because you know I'm going to go deep, I think we need to pin this whole thing real quick. Can we pin it?
Yeah, because we jumped to some real deep stuff, and I think we got to the heart of.
Yeah, we got to pin it for a minute. But I got to bring it back to why we have her that we talking about with it. And I'm not talking about the H.E.R, even though I appreciate her too.
I love her.
About her. And I'm not talking about the her that Jaheim was singing about in his song, Her. I'm talking about this one. So can you go back to when we first opened up and we talked about life? And then I'm going to tell you why I went back to that question.
Yes. Life. Yeah. So before.
Bring them up. So she didn't defrog the house. She didn't the kids. She didn't fold the book bags. She didn't clean up the house. She didn't protect her herself. She didn't finally found a way to hug her kid and send her kid to college. And then life happened again.
Yes.
What happened?
Yeah, my son he woke up this morning, 5, my youngest woke up about 5:10. He heard his dad leaving for work, and he woke up in pain. So I gave him some ibuprofen, but then I said, hold up, where's your pain at? So I started doing some research, and they were like, that's nothing to play with. So I was like, Micah, we're not going to send you to school today. I'm going to call your doctor. So his doctor, Dr. Cola, said, have him come in immediately. So we got there about 8:15, something like that. And the doctor checked him out, and he was in some pain, but the pain wasn't as excruciating as it was this morning because he was leaning on the wall to get down the stairs. And this is a kid that plays basketball. So I was like, nah, that ain't even, he has all the energy in the world. So the doctor was like, yeah, see, it could be a couple things that could be wrong here. But because this is so serious, we don't want to play with it. I need you to go to Scottish Rite Hospital in Atlanta. So he was like, worst case scenario, he'll need surgery. So I was like, that wasn't in my plan for the day. So I was like, okay, I got to take care of my baby. I got to call Kim and tell her it could go either way. But first thing I did was prayed about it, and Micah was like, it's okay, Mom. It's not going to be that serious. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. And I said, okay, Micah, I believe you. From your lips to God's ears, and you always are accurate. So, and God is always on time and on point. So we went to Scottish Rite, and he had got checked out. The doctor was like, it could be a couple of things. We got to get him have an ultrasound. So he had an ultrasound, and God was putting like little cherries in there while we were there just to bring me peace. So he had his ultrasound done, and while we were waiting for the results from that, a young man came in. Now, mind you, I had a couple people. The guy who did the ultrasound was from New York. So I was like, oh, my husband's from New York. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And we started talking. He actually was an actor as well. So he started showing me his stuff. I was showing him my stuff. And then we get back, and the guy who took his vitals came in with an Eagles mask on. I was like, hold up. You from Philly? What you know about Philly? He's like, I'm from 60th Street. I said 45th in the building, baby. He was like, he was. So I was like, yeah. So shout out to Rob. I was like, shout out to Rob at Scottish Rite. You did that, son. I'm here for you, kid. No, but anyway, he just treated Micah with all the love in the world, and that was a blessing. So came back. Micah was okay. He wound up just having to have take antibiotics for it. It wound up being, we're not really sure what it was, but it had to do with his private area. So they weren't sure if things were twisted in there, but the results was that it wasn't twisted. Now it could have been, but it was still swollen. So they put him on an antibiotic to make sure that whatever was there could be contained or cleared out. So he has to rest for a couple of days, basically, and just take antibiotics 3 times a day. Take his probiotics. Matter of fact, sidebar, I'm adding this in. If you take an antibiotic, period, don't worry about the doctors, what they say, because a lot of times they forget to tell you have to take your probiotic. Get the ones with the live cultures, not the ones on the shelf, the ones that's in the fridge, the ones that they have behind the counter that's in their refrigerator. If you can't go to like a herb store or whatever that has a refrigerator, get the one with the billions of different cultures in it. So you need live culture probiotic, as well as if you have a Publix, which I know y'all don't back up in Philly, or find your closest, I don't know, shopping center that you like their ice cream or their yogurt, get the live culture yogurt because there's probiotics in that. So take that along with that. The more probiotics you have in your system while you're taking something that's going to lower the good bacteria, have something to build the good bacteria back up in you, and you need your probiotics. So always take that when you're having an antibiotic. Flat out. I just had to put that out there, that disclaimer, because we had a situation with my oldest son, and he wound up getting deathly sick. When he was younger, he was out of school for like 4 months. So there's nothing to play with. So take your probiotics. Facts.
Probiotics. So while you're trying to take care of COVID, now you got to take care of possible surgery.
But praise God that it wasn't.
Praise God that it wasn't, because he doesn't. But we just have to keep an eye to make sure nothing else develops afterwards. So this antibiotic is going to cure all of that. Done. Matter of fact, he's healed. And
in the name of Jesus, by his stripes, we already know he's healed.
So
I say that to say all of this. When you're in a pandemic and then another pandemic comes, you still remain woman and still move forward.
Got to. I have to. And it's layers. Like even with this, even during this time, even last week, even the week before that, when we had a pipe burst, like all these things would happen on top of things all at one time. And I'm taking a class. I'm in the middle of taking an acting class. Shout out to Christine Horn. The truth. She doing her thing. Y'all check it out. Bookmore TV. Yep, she's the beast. So, but yeah, I have homework I got to get done. I got people counting on me with that. I invested my funds into it. So I've been pulling all night, all nighters, going to bed 2-3 o'clock in the morning, because that's the only time that's available. Trash, still got to get up, still got auditions. I still got my own work. You know what I mean? So
you still have your what?
My own work. I still audition.
For even all that's going on, you still find time for woman.
I have to. There's little crevices of time there. Even if you got to put toothpicks in your eyes and pull it back, pull your lids back, there is always time. God will never allow you to go through something you can't handle.
That's what I needed.
He will never let that be on your plate. And I said allow, because I don't believe God puts you through negative things. Things happen, can be allowed, but there's no evil in him. So he wouldn't put you in an evil situation. He can allow things to happen, but you got to believe and trust in him to get your way out. But I believe it begins with what happens between here. Your ears, your mind affects your heart. So I just feel like if you keep that filled with the right stuff, I have this song ringing in my ear sometimes because I think I had the wrong station on the radio, and I'm I'm like believing, but then I hear this song in my head, and I like the song, but I'm like, that ain't appropriate. It's not like. But honestly, the point I'm saying that is, the more you put things that's going to build you up, affirmations, of course, the word. You have to see it. You have to hear it. To believe it. And that don't mean you have to see God to believe God, but you got to see and look at the vast world around us. That's not from no big bang. I mean, if you go outside and just look at the sky, look at the trees, look at the different types of birds, you know there is a God. Shoot, look at your kids. Look at yourself. How do we heal? And sometimes you hear doctors say, well, I don't understand how you heal from that all of a sudden, but I do. Because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world.
Boom. You better bring it. You better bring it. You better bring it.
Hey, you tell she my best friend.
You better bring it.
I just said that our last show, and I live on that. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. And how beautiful a thing is it to know that the God of the universe is inside of you.
Yep. You got God in Christ in you. You got God in Christ in you.
And no matter what you going through, when you got that as a holding foundation, you can stand.
But check this part that a lot of people don't think about. You're supposed to be able to do greater works than what Christ did. Christ walked across water, bro. You could do that if you had to. Now that's the part that people like, well, I don't see how I could. No, if you had to, you could do it. If you had to. That ain't, most people don't have to. Ain't no reason for it.
You just make that,
like you can lift up a car if you have to.
You put yourself in a position to do things that you don't have to do.
Right.
Most times, think about this. Here we go. Whenever you're in a situation that you didn't expect was coming.
Uh-oh.
But you were selected to be that person.
Absolutely.
And had to carry that thing through.
I had that happen on set.
Nobody else could do it. You had to do it in your life or in somebody else's life. Nobody else could do it. That is that walking on water.
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of times we think of the miraculous and we're like, woo, like we're so spooked out about stuff.
It has to be, they want it to be magical, like you
right.
Like
but we're talking about life and how like when God says he talks about behold the mysteries of God. The mysteries are birthed or manifested in those types of situations because he shows himself, he shows his power, he shows our power in him, through him, and because of. So it's really not that deep. And once you grab hold onto that thing and you know, like we go through some stuff and our human side doesn't like it. It doesn't feel good. But our spirit side is like, yo, put on those gloves. Exactly. It's time to go in. Let's show them.
Yeah. But that's why I do what I do. That's why I got into this industry partially. I mean, of course, we start out as dancers, but as far as keeping it going, why I moved into the other side of like getting into acting and producing was because I wanted to have an impact in a different way. Because I was a therapist. I used to counsel people with schizophrenia and bipolar psychosis. That was my career job, quote unquote, at one point. And I felt like that was also my calling at that time. I believe you have different phases of life. You can be called to different things at different times. And I believe now I did a full circle, came back around and got back into the industry. I started out going to school, performing arts, things like that. Well, Franklin Learning Center Performing Arts for high school. I did semester at University of Arts. I did those things. I always danced. I always was touching the entertainment industry. And I was a domestic engineer. That's what I like to call it. I was a domestic engineer for 12 years before I got back to where I am now. Or started.
Can you explain that?
Which part? The domestic engineer part?
Yes.
Okay, so I was a stay-at-home mom. But I wasn't quote unquote great at that. I was great at loving my kids. That whole other part, cleaning, I could cook now. I can burn in the kitchen now. We ain't gonna get that. But that took time. I can cook some food, but I wasn't really great at the whole cleaning part. That ain't my lane. And I had to own, some things you're really good at, some things you're not. Right. So I wasn't really in love with the whole domestic engineering thing. Not the whole thing. Parts of it I was But I felt like I kept getting pulled back. I kept coming to these crossroads where it just kept coming into my life some type of way. I remember being in Seattle and I wound up dancing again out of the clear blue sky. A choreographer who used to do choreography for Janet Jackson pulled me back into it. I wound up dancing. It was painful, but I did it and I loved it. And then, I moved to Connecticut after that and wound up getting pulled into doing some modeling. Loved it. Had fun. Got to touch it again. Was going back to New York. And then we moved to Seattle. When we moved here to Atlanta, Seattle was first. Moved here to Atlanta, I was still a domestic engineer-ish.
I'm loving that term because it's the first time I'm hearing this.
Yes, that's just like learning difference. I'm not gonna call it something else. It's a difference. I learn different than others. I prefer that. And we gotta put labels, But yeah, so I woke up one day just not feeling myself, like not feeling right, not knowing who I was, just feeling uncomfortable. And my husband was like, well, if you're not happy, you should go get a job. And I said, ooh, you right. And I started Googling and I said, oh, I'm going to get back into the entertainment industry. And he was like, no, that's not what I was talking about. I meant like a job at the time. That's what he thought. And I was like, this is a job. So I wound up getting back into the industry, started out as an extra, learning, doing extra work to learn how the business worked here. Because mind you, me and Kim used to be on tour. I knew a lot of people. I still know a lot of people, but I knew a lot of people and I let a lot of my resources at that time dry up. So it was like starting over again. So I had to figure out, how does that work? What does that look like for me now, being a little older but trusting God, you know? And like, there was always these weird things that would happen. Like my very first audition that I had for this short film, mind you, I'm not like, I have this thing with every state that I move to, I give myself a year before I get on the freeway. I know that's crazy. I know I take back roads everywhere until the year is up. I don't know. It's like an adjustment thing. I never realized it until looking back that it was literally a year every state I moved to before I got on their freeway or their interstate. And so this audition came up and I needed to go there. So I was all dressed up in some stilettos and stuff. And first time on the major freeway, driving way far, and I got a flat tire in my big old SUV at the time, and I had no clue how to fix it. And I'm out in East Blibble, right on the freeway, got off the freeway on the side, and God just made stuff happen as he always does. He came, God came to my rescue with all these people that's coming out of the store, I think it was like Chick-fil-A or something, parking lot. They came out, how can we help you? It was like a whole group of like teenagers.
Wow.
I mean, I was dressed, you know. I was a little younger, yeah. I mean, things and hitting in the right way. No, just kidding. But God brought those little young angels and some old angels, and they helped me get it back together. You know, I had an extra tire on my car, so they helped me put it together and they fixed it. And I got to the audition, and I thought I was late. Well, all of their electricity went out.
Wow.
In the whole unit. So they were like, we're not going to be able to do auditions tonight. I said, yes, you are. I turned my headlights on and I shined it in the building. I did my audition because I came an hour and a half away. What we not going to do is send me away. And I did my audition with the headlights on.
Wow.
And they were like so impressed by that yeah, I got the job. So that was like, it was a little short, John, but it was awesome. And it worked out really good. That's the day I met Jasmine and Brad on that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, working with them.
So can I say something?
Yes. Say it, girl.
Only do it.
Yes, he will all the time.
And it's funny how he do it. Because while he was holding his foot on this situation, he was holding back a transition right here. But he also allowed you to show you and walk through so they could see you. Not through their eyes view, but as you see you. So as I'm looking and I'm listening and I'm watching, and I'm like, everything in her life has prepared her for where she is right now. And you were being built and forwarded there.
It's layers. Hey Kim, I ain't get to the good goods yet. She don't know the big layer.
Go ahead. Before I show this video, go ahead.
Okay, so
go ahead, Kimmy.
I will say this because we're talking about journey and journey to today.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched you. I've walked with you. I've seen the different levels, the different transitions, the different growths, and you turning, and I'm going to say You shifting from woman to woman, just like from mercy to mercy, or from grace to grace.
Yeah, absolutely.
And who you are today is truly a testament to everything that God has allowed you to go through, experience. You haven't spoken much about this, but I will.
Okay.
For a person who always has the world's best interest, which means that you always have God's best interest, which means that you oftentimes sacrifice yourself.
I ain't crying. I ain't gonna cry.
For the greater good of anybody that comes into your space. It doesn't surprise me that you are the woman that you are today. And a lot of times we don't see what other people see in us. But because I'm honored to have been a part of your journey for 20-something years, and as sisters, when we pick up that telephone, and we call and we let it go, but we affirm one another because we see who each other is in the eyes of God.
Right.
And so it doesn't surprise me, Shauna, like you said, he was holding off here, holding off there in order for her to. That has been her. God does that consistently in her life. And what I will say, I'm going to share, is that there was a time when I wasn't an outspoken person. I would not go and just say, hey, I'm here. This is what I know how to do, but that wasn't me. I was that fallback. Well, if it happens, it happens. If they see me, they see me. If they don't, they don't. But Anisa was a catalyst for a lot. Like I often say this, that she was my mouthpiece.
We switched places.
It's almost like Moses, when he couldn't talk, he would have other people speak for him. But each of those people were being elevated at different times, but all moving towards what God had for them. And so, again, Shauna, that flashlight or those high beams, Anisa, I feel like it's indicative of God's light shining on you, through you, and around you. Because every time you open your mouth, even if it's just your smile, if it's you walk, when she walks, Shauna, when she walks through the door, when she walks into a room, what happens is magical, and she doesn't see that. See what I'm saying? A lot of times when we see other people see something else that we don't see in ourselves, because we're just being us.
Right.
But it's magical. And for her to have moved from Philadelphia, touching lives,
to Seattle,
touching lives, to Connecticut, touching lives, and Atlanta, touching lives, and the lives that she is now able to touch through her passion is even greater, and it's just going to continue to blossom. So I know I've said a lot, and I could say a whole lot more, and I held my tongue in some aspects, but that's who you are to me. That's who you are to those people who have the honor of calling you friend, of calling you, peer, of calling you partner, calling you scene partner, calling you director, calling you mom, calling you wife, calling you daughter. And I want to give you your flowers now.
Oh, Thank you, Kimmy.
Well,
But that's why I do. Thank you, Kim. Not to get any accolades or anything. I do it. The reason why I chose this path right now is because I want to reach as many people as I can to let them know that they're not alone, that somebody gets them, they can be cried with, laughed with, prevented suicide from, that they just know that it's not just them. A lot of times, at least what I noticed as an ex-therapist, is that a lot of people felt that a lot of my clientele was feeling they were alone in what they were feeling or going through at the time. That people didn't get them, didn't understand what it felt to have a dual diagnosis, alcohol with chemical dependency with depression, chemical dependency with schizophrenia or bipolar. Like they felt alone in their space, like that nobody really got them. And I want, through this path, this vehicle, for them to know that they're not alone, so they can see God shining on them, even if it doesn't feel like it in that moment. And a lot of times people, one thing I know, most people watch some form of entertainment. Even if they walking down the street watching these fools over here do whatever they do, they watching some form of entertainment. So I'm pretty picky about the type of roles I take. Not saying that I wouldn't play a hooker or a rapist. I prefer not to, but I'm not saying that I would, because that's a piece of somebody's journey. And if they need that story to be told so that the end outcome is they move through it. Now, something when it's that sketchy, I would need it to be I need to see the final result for me personally within that storytelling. So I'm picky about the type of roles I play.
Not only are you picky, somebody else is shouting you out.
Oh, that's her mom. That's mom.
You can tell who. You can tell who's who.
She mine.
She said, I knew. You know what? This has to be a relative.
She is always okay. So Mom Rhodey said she is always tripping because she is mine. LOL. How's both my daughters? You are both the shining light that God is using. Can I talk about her real quick? She popped up real quick.
Yes.
So she's right by saying that she's a shining light because she's hers. Nisa is a direct result of a God-fearing woman who has touched the lives of thousands of people in the city of Philadelphia and beyond.
And still,
when you say her name, if you post her name on social media, I guarantee you it's going to be somebody that's going to pop up and be like, oh my God, I love Miss Morgan.
Oh, that's Mama Rhodey.
She's an educator. And she was one of those educators that gets down and grimy with you. Like she walked with her kids.
Facts.
She knew her kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you know
every last one of them.
And because you said that, I have to go here. I have to go here. You know what? Sometimes I just love the way God moves, because I'm watching how he unfolds this. As you may walk in with one agenda and one plan, but God has another plan. And when it comes to the end, you be like, oh, that's why you made me do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I had to go here. Oh, that's why I said that. Oh, that's why this was initiated here and this was initiated there. You never know, like I said earlier today, you never know who's watching. That's why when you always make sure that you are where you need to be and in your place of order.
Mm-hmm.
When you are in your place of order, your flowers will grow accordingly. Your mother was in order. So it's only fair ground that you would be the same. And your children is going to do the same. That's why you already implanted that one. I didn't get no hug from mommy, But I know when I do get it, I know to hold it. But then not only that, you got that one that's all the way away from you and already know this is what we're going to do. See, those deceased, but see, this is where I wanted to make you the next spokesman.
Proverbs 23, 13, and 14. As soon as they're old enough to talk, do not withhold discipline from your children. Whom the Lord loves, he disciplines.
Yeah, but I don't know that I can intentionally hurt my child, though.
Alice, listen. Some of the greatest lessons in life come amidst pain. If there's no sting, then what you get is a spoiled child. And I know you don't want that.
So, like I said, out of the whole thing that I watched, that is what I pulled out, that whole entire segment. Because it's that one scripture right there, and that thought that even though it was written, but you was the one who fed it. And you fed it in such a way that if all of us out here today can display that same understanding, do you know where we could go? Because some people feel as though they just can't inflict no type of pain. It's just going to come easy. This is what it is. This is how it's going to be. No. Would you say, Kim? What comes with faith? What kind of works did you say?
Oh, faith without works is dead?
I believe you said it again. What did you say again?
Faith without works is dead.
You would not have been able to put that scene out there without knowing that for yourself.
Yeah. And I have to say what's funny is that which was cool is that my son, who I was talking about, who I had to take to emergency today, played my son in that film.
Oh.
Yeah.
You saw the little boy that ran over to her and he was like, "Mommy, I want to play." That's Micah. That's her youngest.
Yeah, I'm going to play that skit again. I really am. But I had to just identify who we're talking about right here. And, you know, like I said, and like I've said, you know, some things in your life happens for a reason. And when it happens for that reason, you'll understand it. Like the hymn writer says, later, by and by. So by the mere fact of you understand it now you can do the song that I sing at church. You can look back over your life and understand that you're truly blessed because he was with you all the way.
Oh yeah.
You're sitting here like a testimony. You're just a testimony. And that's the reason why I called you woman. See, when people hear the song Woman, I'm every woman is all in me. When we went and we listened to the other song that we was going to use, I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan because I'm a woman. And we had the blues singer that we also thought about using for you. You know, the one where she growled and says, "I am a woman." Everybody can fit there all day. They can fit them songs all day. But when you walk the life of the woman that God has created you to be, when he molded you, purpose driven, that's the woman we were talking about. But you can't be that type of woman if you don't know what you know. And we needed you today because there are some women out here. Now listen again, ladies. Y'all already know the disclaimer. My truth, I'm not pushing it on you. You may not even agree with what I got to say. But there's some women out here that we are already platformed on that we're saying you need to fix your crown and know your worth. Because when you know your worth, you know that God is not out here to hurt you. He's here to help you. And if there's something in your life right now as a kink, as a hinder, and you need some antibiotics, you know, the one she just talked about, the pro antibiotics, because you was taking the other antibiotics. This is your time to get the medication that she's putting on this platform for you today. because it's here to let you know that when life happens, it happens. You don't let it crush you. You move on with the punches and you use your imagination and you go with it. Did you see what happened with the flat tire? Somebody right now got a flat tire in your life. I'm sorry, you got a flat tire in your life and you're about to walk up for the biggest audition of your life and you don't know what you're going to do. You already dressed for it. You know you built for it, but you don't know how to present it. Well, I ain't even gonna moan. I ain't gonna moan. Yes, I am. Need I say anymore?
Yeah. But I was gonna say something. I was gonna say that's important. A important piece that I left out. Like what made me do what made me desire, I guess, outside of my mom to change people's lives too, was I came from an abusive background, not from my mom or anything like that, but I was sexually assaulted for a pretty good time of my life. And that's why I got into psychology, because I wanted to figure out why people think the way they do, why they do things to other people. How could I fix not just myself, but how could I help fix others through their traumas? And a lot of women, at least I know that in our community, we've been taught to sweep things under the rug. These are things we don't talk about. Men that are abused, these are things we don't talk about, or not supposed to talk about. These things you deal inside your house, closed doors. But what happens in the dark needs to be brought into the light so that healing can happen. And that's why that was my initial start to wanting to get into not acting, but into healing, different forms of healing. So that's why I got in to start studying psychology. That's why I went to school and got my bachelor's in psychology. That's why that's why I became a guardian ad litem at one point in time. I wanted to help kids. I wanted to help get them while they're young, help them through their situations, stand up, advocate, to be an advocate for them, to be their voice, be a voice for the voiceless. And so I did all that. Yes, I still look kind of young, but I've been through a lot in my short, long life is what I call it. Or my long, short life, however you want to look at it, because it's still going. But that's why I then moved into it. Entertainment it's entertainment as a whole. You can reach so many more people than you can being a therapist in a inpatient and outpatient facility. I can touch more people at one time and bring an open door to healing, to God shining his light through me or the characters that I play. Be it laughter. Some people just need to laugh sometimes. Some people need to cry. Oh, and I can cry because I've been through some stuff. And if you watch anything that I've done, any acting that I've done where I'm crying, it's nothing fake about it. Those are situations or emotions that I felt through something that I went through. I don't believe in reliving things, but I believe in remembering how I felt, not reliving those experiences. But for me, that's not my style of acting. I believe in remembering how I felt. And also tapping into some of my cries. Maybe it depends. I don't know which one they caught on the particular film I did. It depends on which cry they used. I don't know. Some of those were happy cries. I was worshiping. When I ran out of things in my well, I asked God to give me other things. I was singing in my mind, and those were happy tears brought out as sad tears.
Right.
So you gotta, I believe that those things that I've been through in my life, as you also said, testimonies, the praise worshiping God through song, those things all affect how I perform and how I can give. This is my vehicle of service at this time.
But you know what? It goes beyond there. because even though I was touched by your performance, that was nothing compared to just having a general text conversation with you and now having a one-on-one talk with you. You are the same person, offset, onset.
Yeah, I don't change. It is what it is.
I seen, and the one part that I seen was you had a scene where you was talking to this guy, and I believe you was in an office setting, and you had to put him in his place, and you like, look, if I don't know nothing, if I don't hear nothing, I don't know nothing. What do you want, and why are you interrupting my speech? Because you're interrupting every bit of nerve of me. It was like I only watched it once and I knew word for word what you said. And I remember that place in my life where you had that one person when you was like, you know what? Yes, they irk your ever living soul. And yes, my cousin is on here, Lady Lee.
Hey, Lady Lee, what it do, boo?
I will definitely be honored to let her meet you.
Oh,
Definitely.
thank you.
Because
oh, by the way, that scene you're talking about, I actually had pneumonia.
shut the door.
I snuck out the house to shoot that. My husband was
Livid. So
that's how he was.
like we just said, when life happens, you don't just stop. You don't give up. Yes, you may cry, but you push through because you know why you push through? Because somebody else is also going through with you. You are not alone. You're not alone. No matter what you think, no matter how it looks, you may feel it, but you are not alone. If you haven't realized within the last 3 months, Kim?
You mean for what? The pandemic?
No, that we've been here 3 months?
May, June, July, 4.
4 months. Hey, congratulations to us. We have been saying over and over again, this is the place to come and get your healing because God has placed women like Anisa here to give you what you need to help you to adjust your crown and to know your worth. And you just adjust your crown. It don't mean that you don't have one. It doesn't mean that you don't deserve one. Because you know what? Right about now, this is about the time where me and Kim would say, it's time for you to unpack this thing. It's time for us to unpack it. It's season's greetings. We giving you Christmas now. Take it as a gift. It's time to unpack. You feel with depression, suicide, whatever's on your mind, and you may think that you're not worthy of being known or being called woman. And we've all been at a place at that time where we have felt not worthy of who we are. And when you don't know who you are, yes, you are feeling just that. But know your worth, my sister. You are worthy. And you're worthy of all that comes with it. And if you don't believe me, you don't believe Kim, we got somebody else for you. And this will tell you. She'll tell you. She'll show you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let this scene touch y'all. She gonna show you how Philly came out in this little short clip. And then you can tell us about this clip after. How about that? That sound good?
Is he healthy?
Mm-hmm, sure is. Sorry about the scare. You have a nice sized little boy. And you do?
The doctor says 8 weeks, but I think he'll come early.
Every first time mama thinks they're going to deliver early. They're like, there's no way I can get any bigger than I already am. But they do.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
This scare just made me realize how much I really do want him here.
Yeah, there's nothing like the first time you see that baby.
Oh, you have kids?
Mm-hmm.
How many?
I have two. I just gave birth to my second a few months ago.
Oh. Do you want him to be here? But then sometimes I don't know what to do when he does get here, you know. More than anything, I just don't want to.
Honey, you don't have to be afraid of a child. You're going to be a great mom. You're going to mess up, yes. All you got to do is love them and put the fear of God in them as they grow.
I don't know what it is about motherhood that just has me so. I don't know. Second guessing myself. I mean,
Mm-mm. It's gonna play. We not playing that today. I was waiting for technology to step in. It always. I was waiting. That's all right, y'all. Y'all stay tuned. Stay right here. It's gonna pop back.
Yes.
Just stay tuned. It's gonna pop back. I ain't playing with it today. We ain't playing. Just stay tuned on it. We ain't playing. Let's see where we at.
I know I need to get diapers and we need to finish Safe Roof the House because we're not done with that yet. But
I say you need Jesus more than all that stuff. Do you go to church?
I did when I was younger, but it's been a while.
Tell you what. Tell your husband that your new friend Teresa invited you to church. Give me a call and tell me what he says.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Teresa.
Why don't you finish getting cleaned up? Take your time, and you better not forget to call me.
Push hard. You got it.
Just 5 more minutes, and I'll help you with those dishes.
Oh, no. You sit and rest.
No, I can't have you doing all that extra. Did you hear us talking?
Excuse me, Mama.
You're excused.
Ronnie wants to know,
May
may I play Frogger with him?
What's that?
Oh, it's just this little video game with a frog trying to cross the road. It's totally harmless.
Yes, you can play Froggy with Ronnie.
It's Frogger, Mommy.
Well, whatever it's called. Yes, you can play for about 10 minutes, and then we gotta go.
Thank you. My mom says I can play.
Kids.
Hey, I'm sorry about Ronnie tonight.
What for?
His manners, or his lack of manners, I should say.
Well, how does he normally act?
I don't know. I guess I just don't notice it, when it's just him and Kate. But I don't know why he just seems to always decide to act up whenever we have company around.
John David used to be just the same.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It took us weeks to get him to learn basic table manners. Because ain't no kid gonna say things like please and thank you on him.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to lend me whatever book you used to train him.
Oh, you already got it, honey. And it's all in there. In the Bible.
Oh, well, I guess I missed the chapter on manners.
Well, how much time do you spend reading Proverbs or memorizing verses? I mean, I have all my kids learn Proverbs 23, 13, and 14 as soon as they're old enough to talk. Do not withhold discipline from your children. Whom the Lord loves, he disciplines.
Yeah, but I don't know that I can intentionally hurt my child, though.
Alice, listen. Some of the greatest lessons in life come amidst pain. If there's no sting, then what you get is a spoiled child. And I know you don't want that.
So amen to that. Amen to that. There she go. Amen to that.
It was a lot in those few scenes to really unpack. And whew.
Yes.
So when you have women, okay, I'm gonna go back. The way Anisa and I met was in Philadelphia at the old convention center at a basketball game with all of the high schools. And we had a mutual friend who was still our sister, our friend, Deneen.
D.
And they were together, and Dee introduced us. And Nisa was herself. Hi, how are you? Oh my God, I love your hair wrap. Oh my God, girl, look at those jeans. I mean, love. She was just showing love, sincere, pure, authentic Anisa-ness, right? But I was standoffish.
She wasn't having none.
How you going? And then we had a phone call one day, and I forget exactly how it went, but she called, and I was just like, ugh, she called. But then she's like, all right, it's okay. You don't have to talk to me right now, but you gonna be my best friend. You gonna be my best friend. I was like, okay.
Right, where they do that at?
Wait a minute. This is her?
Huh?
This is her?
Yes.
This
is my Anisa.
I heard about you.
All the hot mess rolled together.
Right. And then,
That's all right. Because we're known as two of a kind, me and you.
I'm going to add this nugget to it. I was in a place in my life where I was searching for God.
Okay.
And our friendship started growing. And I accepted her as friend because of her authenticity. I didn't trust people. I didn't like people. I didn't want to be around people if I didn't have to be around them. Like, I was a different me. And then as the years grew and I started venturing into different belief systems and things of that nature. And when I really came to the point where I was like, I really, really want to know God for myself. And I'm hungry. And this one day I called her and I was like, Nisa, I started reading the Bible. She's like, oh, praise the Lord. I was like, whoa.
You doing way too much, Nisa.
I just got a question for you. Like, I'm just reading. I said, I started in Genesis. I said, but I'm confused. She was like, well, go to the book of Matthew. I was like, the middle of the book? I'm like, who does that? Who reads a book from the middle? That don't make sense. Well, I listened because at that point she was my friend and I trusted her. And I knew who she was. And I followed what she said to do. And in doing that moment, whew, that moment changed my life. Because I was fighting through a lot. I was struggling even with who I was, let alone who this Christ was. And it was certain things that I was believing. I was like, no, but that goes against what I believe. And it took it. I wasn't supposed to get emotional. However, I saw so much in that video that reminded me of us and how we've watched each other give birth in the spiritual and in the natural to your children, to your visions, to your career, to my career, to even the children that I lost, but still us always being able to be that for each other. Mm-hmm. And then there's days where we might even call each other and be going through something. Mm-hmm. And it's like this thing, I don't even realize you really or think of like what we do, but we'll call each other and then we'll start venting. Mm-hmm. That person just needs to vent. And then one of us will say, well, okay, do you want me to respond? Right? Or do you just want me to listen?
Right. We ask that
question. That's knowing or wanting to be sure on not moving ahead of yourself. Mm-hmm. Or if God just wants you just to be there for your sister. But like I said, in those particular scenes, I saw us, that exchange of God, that exchange of birthing different things. Mm-hmm. that uncertainty in certain areas that only at times become or come under the shield of peace when your sister is praying for you. And you know that it's been times where I have not been able to pray for myself. And she would just like just now, and you heard that crack, and I went, she'll just go in.
Just start praying.
Or vice versa. Understanding that God created relationship. He created sisterhood. He created an environment or an ecosystem for people to not be alone.
And that's what I think that trick is with the whole COVID thing, is because it's such an isolating type situation, but it doesn't have to be. And what you beautiful ladies have put together here, this platform is a reminder that you are not alone. You don't have to be alone. That God's heart is to show you that you're still here. I'm with you. I never leave you, nor do I forsake you. I'm right with you in the battle, in the flame, just as I'm with you outside of it. So thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, Kim. I just wanted to say
no,
that.
that's fine, because you just confirmed and reaffirmed what before we even started this, and the day that we did our first show, those were words that were spoken.
Oh.
Because that's what it's for. Like when we invite people to come on, the first thing we would say, just let your hair down. This is heart to heart. This is sister to sister. And we're allowing ourselves to be vulnerable and transparent so that somebody else who might be going through something similar or the same can see themselves in us and realize that they are not alone.
Yeah. Right. And to stop putting God in a box.
Boom.
That part is so important, because I think when you're dealing with religion versus spirituality, your relationship with God is your relationship with God. When you go to the Bama, can't nobody answer for you but you.
Mm-hmm.
So outside of ritualistic things, your spiritual growth is so important. Your relationship with God is so important. What you pour into that and develop it, just like any other relationship, you have to cultivate it.
Yeah. Right.
And I just think that is so, so important to remember, that to build not just yourself up, but build, you have to put the mask on first when you're in the airplane. You can't help nobody else until you put your mask on first, right? Isn't that the rule or something like that?
When it deploys and you
you got to do it first, even before you take care of your child. And the purpose of that is so you can sustain yourself to be able to take care of somebody else. So you can be either a help me or a help person to someone else, to help them be their best self.
Oh, Jesus. My spoken. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say the purpose of us being on this earth, period, is to be of service.
That's it.
You have to find out what your passion and purpose is within your service. Whatever your passion is to serve, period. It has to lead to service. But God is not a God that needs to be put in a box, nor does he want to be put in a box. He understands when we go through stuff. He understands, yeah, you may want to dip and dabble and do all of this and that and whatever. Ain't nothing wrong with it. He said, just don't be in excess with it. Don't overdo it. And don't hurt nobody. Why are you doing it? Think about, in the end, is it going to hurt you and somebody else?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're totally right.
He ain't saying, he ain't binding you up, because you got to, as a faith believer, sometimes you can't be keeping it all up in the church. You keep it in the church, who is it helping? Nobody else. You need to get out in them streets and serve and help those people so they can come to know God's heart and his word.
Can you get off of 2 weeks ago's segment, and can you get off the phone conversation I just had today? Can you just not do that right now? Because I really need you to stop acting like you was on the show 2 weeks ago and we said this. And I really need you to get off of the conversation that I just had. I need you to do that. I really need,
I
what?
can't.
I really need you
Because
to
he wants us to be iterated.
I need
That's
you to
what he
call,
wants.
I need you to call your mom. I need you to send your mom the link and tell your mom either she's gonna call into the show or she's coming on the show. Which one
Yes.
are you gonna do? Because
Send
mom,
her the link, Nisa.
Huh?
Send her
tell,
the link.
call your mother while we live and ask her. Because I'm asking her live because I know she's watching.
Do I call her on the speakerphone? Like what we do?
Either she's going to text you and say yes or no, or she's going to text us here and say yes or no. Ask her if she's coming on the show, because if she's coming on the show, send her the link that I sent you and tell her to just click in. If she's not, tell her I'm putting the phone number on the screen. And the phone number I'm putting on the screen is not just for mommy, but it's for anybody that want to tap in on this conversation. Because your mom that said something that blew my mind. And again, y'all both need to get off of my conversation that I just had a phone call with today. Because the phone call I said today was, if we all just knew our purpose and understood our place, so much better will we all be. Because our purpose here in life was to be of service. Woman was to be of service. That's what we were. We were service.
I sent her the link. I don't know. She ain't saying nothing yet.
She said nothing either. Mom probably sitting back, clapping her hands, laughing.
Right.
Probably cracking up, laughing like,
Like this, really?
she like, I ain't coming up on that platform with them. Yes, you are. I don't care what you look like. We in quarantine. We
She might have to call. I don't know where she's at. I don't know if she's home.
Mom, you could be in your car, you could be in the grocery store, you could be in the convenience store. We have this type of platform that no matter where you are, you can click in wherever you at and get in. You must come in at the door, is what I'm saying. And I'm not talking about the fact that you got to be Christian or whatever. I'm just using that song right now because I'm trying to give you an invitation. As the invitation say, the doors are now open. The phone lines are now open.
Yeah, because God is not a respecter of person. He's a respecter of hearts.
Into this place.
So if anybody want to tap into the conversation, if any of y'all have any conversations or any questions, anything y'all want to ask Anisa, you can come in, you can ask her, we can discuss it. If you want to put it right here on the live, because I want to thank everybody that's coming through. Everybody's coming through and they're tapping, they're touching, they're agreeing, they're loving you, they're appreciating you.
Thank you.
And this is all about on the sister chat. It's not just mainly just for women, it's for men too. Because when you see what all we go through and you understand what we're going through, you get a chance to love us differently. Because now you understand why we so cuckoo.
Yeah, like I think, and that's what that part, like the cuckoo part.
Oh,
I'm about that. Like we got to be colorful.
She said she's at the hospital with your aunt. Now,
I figured she was.
If you want,
tell Aunt Jackie we love her. We're sending her to her. Hope she's watching.
She can still you could call in. You can call that phone number and you can talk to us while you're sitting there with Aunt Jackie, and we can even say a prayer with Aunt Jackie, because when you're in the hospital, we know that it's only one person in that hospital that we know, the best doctor of all doctors, that can take care of everything, and we not know nothing, but we know once we put it in his hands, it's a done deal, whichever way it's going.
Got the whole world in his hands. Got the whole wide world
in his hands. We got the whole world in his hands. We got the whole world in his hands.
Now, if we were singing, I would have told us to all put our earplugs in so we could all.
I'm not a singer.
And then
I would have had 20 hours out now.
Baby, in this hand, we got a little baby.
I'm not doing the itsy bitty spider.
Only Kim. Only Kim. But I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad. Because moments too. It just right now I'm too. I'm not sure. Oh, Aunt Jackie said hi.
Oh, I love you.
So like I said, Mom, if you want, or anybody that's listening in, anybody that's watching, everyone that is sharing, we're appreciating your shares. Please continue to share. We always say, if this is not for you, you never know who you may know it may be for. So please share, drop that seed so that it can land on the proper soil. You be the farmer today. Just share.
Yep. So, and God knows your heart. God knows your heart. God knows, even when you don't know what your final purpose is or what your purpose is, it just takes just a tiny little mustard seed belief. and he will activate and make it grow and make it happen. You can have your needs met. You can do what, don't, matter of fact, don't think small. Think so radical and out of the box. That thing that you think that's not even possible, that you can't touch, can't have. Think about that. You want, when you want God to do something miraculous, you want it to be something that you can't independently do. So make it so big, so out of the box, so off the wall, so like so untouchable that God can do something crazy for you with it, and you can touch it. I mean, seriously, like I've been blessed. I don't even know how many times over. I've worked with people that I never thought I would have an opportunity to work with. I've seen people, experience them, been in their room, been in the room with them, breaking bread with them. Even had through, just God always gave me these cool opportunities. Like people always say, you got the golden Rolodex, which I believe I do. I know a lot of people in this business, outside this business, in other countries, that I've been blessed to break bread with, get to know, bless their lives. And that's the one thing about me that I have to say. I don't change. I'm me. I'm authentic. Oh, they
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm in tears. Thank you. I don't
You know, I'm not technologically savvy.
look, you got in. You did better than some people who is tech savvy that couldn't get in. So now that you here, look, y'all, this is Anissa's mom. And Mama said some stuff that I think Mama needed everybody to hear, not to just read, because we don't all have the abilities to be able to read what everybody is saying and hear what they are saying. But Mom has something very heartfelt that hit me, because I know a friend that's in a valley. And I know she's not used to being in the valley. And for her, she's like, Anissa, she's there for everybody. She's doing for everybody. And you know that person who's always there for somebody, and now it's your turn. And Mom
Hey,
said,
you do what God wants you to
"You're in the
do.
valley alone." She said, "You're never in the valley alone." Go ahead, Mama. Spread the knowledge on them.
Hey, I've been going through quite a bit, but at the same time, I feel blessed because I feel like nothing happens by coincidence, and that God puts people in your lives for a reason. If you have to service them, then you have to service them. And sometimes we do take the time to not really service ourselves, even though we should. But God always gives you the strength to get through every day. And all I look at is one day at a time. And when you're in the valley, He always gives you whatever it is you need in that valley to fight through. So that eventually you'll see the mountaintop. It won't be a problem, but He's always there, regardless. I don't care how tired you get, He always seems to give you the strength to keep moving forward. And that's what you have to rely on. You have to trust that His plan is always better than ours. I always say if you want to see God make a joke, try and make a plan. And you will see how He has a great sense of humor. Because that plan is never always His plan. So you have to trust His plan for your life. And regardless of how it seems it's going, He's always behind the scenes working. And that's what I count on every day. Him being behind the scenes and working. So, having that faith, believing in things that you can't see, but knowing that He's always there and things just pop up and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. But it's because He's showing you that all He needs is for you to ask Him and to just trust Him. And it'll always come out, and it always comes out right in the end. So that's what I go with. Every day, one day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking. I
Mm.
don't know how else to say it.
Well, there you have it. Mama said it. Mama knows. Because all it says is, all I need is one day at a time, sweet Jesus. That's all I'm asking for you. But I love the fact, because I live by it. If you want to know how much God's sense of humor is, make your own plan. Make it. I dare you. He gonna tell you how funny you are.
That's right.
Did you feel it?
This is a big
So
joke.
I feel like, remember, so Shauna, I feel like we just invited you into Nisa's bedroom, right? With me and her sitting in the bed, and her mom coming in and sitting on the edge of the bed, and just pouring. And I wasn't supposed to do this.
Don't be crying, man. I'm tired. I can't be
No,
crying.
I'm just saying, no, they're happy. Because this is what sisterhood is. And so many people sometimes choose to be by themselves because they're afraid to open up and let somebody else come in.
Right.
And for me, I just think if however many years ago there was, 20, 30, 20 something years ago, if I hadn't allowed myself to be friends with Anisa, probably half the stuff that has happened in my life thus far would not have happened. I wouldn't have these two relationships, this beautiful relationship that I have with these two women. And I just implore, if there's anybody out there, if you are going through whatever, if it's a low season, an uncertain season, whatever it may be, allow yourself the privilege to be vulnerable and let somebody in. Don't walk this thing by yourself. If somebody has been knocking at your door, sending those phone calls, sending those messages, asking you how you are doing, don't blow it off. If it's a loaded question, say it's loaded, and then say, well, how much time do you really have?
Right. We can go and do this.
So that's what this sister chat is all about. That's what these relationships that I have with Shauna and Mom Brody and Anisa, that's what this is. And we couldn't have this platform and this moment. I feel like we're on one of those game shows.
Pick your box.
I feel like this moment, where are you? There. Wait.
And it's real. It's real because when you have that real sisterhood, this is what lifting up your sister means right here. When you reach out and you touch another sister and you say, hey, I got you. And understand, not everybody can say I got you and they really got you because they got hidden agendas for why they got you.
Right.
I get it. But sometimes you'll know when you're doing the right leap of faith and you're touching the right sister. But then even if you're not touching the right sister, by you just touching that sister, you may make her right. Again, that's how I feel. It doesn't mean you may have to feel the same way. But the part about it is we ought not be here with our sisters. We ought not be walking around like this with our sisters. We need to be walking arm in arm with our sisters.
Mm-hmm.
It was a statement that was made today, and it was talking about all the killings that was going on. And me and Kim got a little foundation that we got going on called #enough. It's #enough for everything. We just had enough for everything. It's now for us sisters and mothers to step up and do what we do best. But with stepping in there, he was talking about all the killings that was going on. And what the statement I said was, until, and this is step right on it, until we start realizing that the rehabilitation is on one's life, that's what we're going to need to do. And once we start working on that, we can make differences one at a time. But we got to start with self first. We got to put the mask on, not the mask, but the mask. And once you realize which mask you're supposed to have on, the better healing you can get. Because with the wrong mask, you could be causing a detrimental effect on not only your life, but everybody that comes in contact with you.
So,
Mama Rosen already told you. Kim already told you. And this and told you. And you know we've already been saying it. This is a sisterhood that you don't know, but you don't have to stay not knowing. We are always here for you. This happened at a very good time because our lives were so busy. We couldn't see nothing, hear nothing, let alone be a part of nothing. But now that we're all in our little timeout corners, we got no other choice but to sit down and start working on ourselves and doing some home improvements. Some of y'all are doing literal home improvements. Right now, we're having a spiritual home improvement. And we're improving each other. And you're already seeing years of home improvement that's going on between these three. And look where these three are. Look where they are.
I'm gonna tell you, these two have been a blessing to me.
Oh.
You know, I mean, they put me through stuff, but that's okay. I go through it because love is unconditional.
Hey now.
You know, so I deal with them. Look at it, pointing both of them. I'm pointing at both of them. Which way? But no, I mean, it could have been worse, and they've turned out to be such beautiful young women that they make me proud every day I see them out there doing anything. You know, so you know, the sisterhood is crazy because you think of the mamahood, but a lot of times I see where they're switching places with me and they try and be my mama.
Facts.
And they're telling me what to do. That's facts for real. You know, but I have to listen. You have to listen. And a lot of times we as parents don't realize that they have a lot to contribute even to us. And we have to learn to listen to our children. If you've done the best you can in raising them, then they have something to contribute even to your life as you get older. You know, so I mean, they've been a blessing to me. Both my daughter from my other mother, and this one that I had, my miracle baby, the one I was supposed to never have. I had 8 doctors tell me hysterectomy, and I said, nope, you're not the ultimate doctor. And here she is with 3 grandbabies later. So God is good. That's my miracle child. That's why I named her Anisa Nyell. It means peaceful, pretty brownie, gift from God.
You
So,
know, it's amazing that you said that because that was my story. They told me I could never have kids.
yep.
And they told me the only way I was going to have a child was if I adopted it or if somebody else had it for me. They even told me that my age wasn't even good enough to give it to somebody else for them to carry it. Then they tried to tell me I had lupus. But then I remember what you just said. I knew a different doctor. I knew the doctor of all doctors.
Absolutely.
And my faith was not going to be shaken by the mere fact. And I remember, and God reminded me that if I don't know nothing else, this one experience that I had should last me for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going into the yard, and my mother, it's something about mamas. Y'all need to understand. It's something about mothers. We may drive our mothers crazy, and our mothers may drive us crazy, but best believe mothers is the best gift that could ever been given to a child. And even if it's not even even if it's not a biological mother, it's just somebody love you enough to mother you. And my mother said to me, I remember she said, well, if you got something to say to God, tell him because he knows you. You go and have a conversation with him. And I went out into my backyard. I said, God, do you hear me? I'm getting tired of being everybody else's mother. Why can't I have my own children that I'm taking care of? Why are everybody taking their kids from me that I'm raising? Why can't I raise my own and look outside and say, that's mine? And my mom came outside. She said, why are you yelling? I said, because I'm talking to God. She said, you ain't got to yell at him.
He can hear you.
He can hear you. I said, I know he can hear me, but you told me to talk to him. And she said, yeah, I did. I said, well, I'm talking to him. She said, no, you're yelling. I said, you told me he knew me. She said, he do. I said, well, I'm angry. And she said, okay. I said, this is what I sound like when I'm angry. She said, well, you ain't got to holler at him. He already know you angry. said, well, why are you hollering at me? She said, because you child, peace be still among you. Take yourself in the house. That's what you need to do. And stop yelling at him. Little did I know, talking about God having this sense of humor, I was already 3 months pregnant.
Wow.
I was 3 months pregnant. Didn't know it. Went to the hospital because I was going to get my tubes tied because my husband at the time was like, he was like, it's a done deal. I knew I wanted more. But he said, and me being a wife, but God said to fight. God, what you said about that joke? God said you want your plan. God gonna show you this is a humor. I went into the doctor's office, and they told me, Miss Williams, you can't get your tubes tied. I said, why? Even though I was happy because I didn't want my mother tools taken away from me. That's what I called them. And she said, he said, and he was there with me, and my mother was there, and the new baby was there that I had just had. And doctor said, because you're already pregnant. He fainted. I told the doctor, I know you's a lie. The devil's a lie because how could I be pregnant? I just had this baby. Lo and behold,
You was
another child. So like you said, that was a joke. That was a serious, funny because he was happy because I was getting ready. He was like, he's not doing a snip, but he gonna make me do it. But God said, ain't nobody snipping because something else coming through. So when you talk about miracles, and that's when I talk about when I say it was that moment, and the moment before that, and the moment before that, and the moment before that of every time he showed up in my life. That I remember who I was and who I was to him and who he was. And yeah, I did. Eventually, I learned to stop hollering at him.
I still do sometimes.
But but you know what? I just learned how to now not needing to feel hollering. I just sit down and we just talk. And sometimes I don't even have to talk. He already knows what I want to say. He already tells me. He already lets me know. This is where we going.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's sometimes I be driving in my car and I be like, "What are you doing?" Ooh.
Do you have that conversation with her too, and this and be like, he know what he's doing. You just mad at what he's doing.
Exactly. And
then she goes, I like you either. I don't like you either. I'm mad at you too. You're not supposed to agree. You're supposed to agree with me right now. I said, well, I can't. I'm sorry.
I don't work like that. That's why we ask that question.
Yes, we do. We ask that same question. So that's why I know you, because she said somebody else asked me that same question. I said, did you want me to agree? Did you want my opinion, or did you want me to just listen? What did you want me to do? Somebody else just said the same thing to me. I don't like her either.
Okay. I love you though.
I love you too.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we be on the phone. Look.
They're both a trip. They're both a trip.
Everybody that's on here is also showing the love and appreciating the love.
Girl, go on with yourself.
And you need that girlfriend. Please say it again what you just said. And you need that girlfriend. Your girlfriend is not going to be that one that's going to sit with you and going to agree with you when you're wrong. She's going to tell you you're wrong. She's going to tell you why you're wrong. And then she's going to say, I love you right after.
Yeah.
And it'll be okay. Y'all not going to be. She's not going to leave. She's not going to ghost you.
That's when you will be, but you're not going to leave.
You're going to
and that's what I could say. Like, out of all our years, we may have had disagreements,
right?
But it was nothing that was relationship that would traumatize our relationship or stop us from knowing who we were for each other.
Right.
Out of all of these years.
Yeah. Or we just don't remember it.
Like I used to hang out with her because I didn't like her telling me about myself. So I'd be like,
yeah, she used to hang up. That was her thing.
And then she'd be like, So you hang up on me?
You know, there's a redial button, or you can just take the thing. You know how hard it is to call somebody back on a rotary phone? There was no cell phones. I had to dial all the digits.
All of them.
And I would beep her back and be like, I'm sorry. In code.
All of them. Remind you, it was EV7 and GR4. EV6.
You had to work. Like if you wanted a phone call, you had to work for it.
Yes.
You couldn't just like pick up the phone. Remember the times? Do y'all remember when before the aliens came and took them away? The payphones?
Oh, the aliens took them.
I saw a
They just disappeared overnight.
Wait a minute. I saw a payphone the other day and I went and looked in the booth and I was like, dang, I was hoping there was gonna be a phone there so I can say, do they still work?
There's nothing
They just
there.
overnight. They're where'd they go?
You might see one or two in New York, like in Manhattan, like every 5 blocks.
But it's disconnected. It probably don't even work.
Yes, and you see none in Philly. There are none in Philly.
No.
None.
It could be like a payphone. What's that?
I know.
Like,
I
what
know.
Like,
I
come
got
on,
one for you. I have one
I
for
can
you.
just use my cell phone.
Remember when you could spell, you knew what the letters were according to the numbers? So wait, we go to the hospital with the kid and they tell him to dial food, 1-800-476-food. So he like, how am I supposed to dial food? We like the numbers. So he's like, which one is for the F? I'm like,
It's underneath it.
ABC is number 2.
A,
DEF is number 3. You know?
I ain't gonna
we were smart kids.
Yes.
We were.
And now it's hard to write a paragraph because you busy writing like thanks, THX. Like you can't grammar is out the damn window.
No, I got you one even better. Microphone. Look at here. This is what I have to say. Okay, goodbye.
Yeah, I can't spell for word for darn anymore. I'm like, I say it like multiple. That don't look right.
And when they're talking, what you're trying to say, they put in their own words. It never comes out right. They make up words.
They sure do.
That's why you gotta go look it up in a dictionary. But where do you find those at?
I sent the message to Frank. I was like, I want some fish.
Define beauty or spell beauty. I got one for you. What's her name? What's the name? I think Alexa. How do you spell beauty? Beauty. Beauty. Beauty.
No, I'm looking it up in the website.
You know, I met Siri. I met Siri before.
Oh, really?
The real
Siri. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I met the real Siri.
Wow. Can you tell her she needs to meet the new one? I'm going to be the new voice, right, Kim?
Right.
I'm going to be the new voice.
Kim.
I'm going to be the new voice, right, Kim? So I have to do all the voiceovers. Well, I don't have to. I do them. So I have like 50 million voices. So I'm going to be the new voice. I'm going to be the girl that you want me to use, and you want to use her. Or I can use her.
Go on with the stuff, you know.
I could use her.
Wow.
Or I could use her. Or I could just use her. Yeah, I can use them.
I'm so glad you can.
And then
I'm gonna share an inside tip with y'all. I've never shared this with anybody except for my closest friends.
You get ready to do it right. You get ready to do it virtually. Are you sure?
I'm okay with it. I have this thing that I only re-record my answer machine messages after I've been sick. Because you get that nice raspy voice. So I think my last recording was a couple years ago. Now I've been sick with them, but yeah. So my voicemail message, it happened right after I lost my voice, but started to get it back. That's the best time. And that's all. Anytime I ever had a voicemail, that's the only time I did it. So there you go. That's a piece that nobody ever knew about.
Wow.
Well, just one time I lost my voice a few months ago, right? And I was real raspy, and I was like, and I started feeling better. So Frank was like, "You still got your voice?" I was like, what you mean? He was like that raspy. I was like,
He's like, I like
I think it's leaving. He was like, oh,
it.
like
That's the best voice ever.
Well, see, I never had that problem because I've always had a deep voice.
Yeah.
So they always think my voice is sexy. So I'm good.
Hey! Mama Road that just stepped into the building, y'all.
that's the other side. That duality. She a
Oh, wait. Okay. Give up the card, Mama Rose. Give up
Hey,
the card. What else do we do?
oh, I can't tell it all. I
Please
can't
don't.
put all that out there because I would embarrass them. They
Yeah.
know I embarrass them, so I'm not doing it. I see T. Kim saying cut it. I'm cutting it. I can't do that.
One more tip. She gotta give us one more. One more. One good one.
Give us a good one, Mom. Give us a good one.
Yeah, give
A
us a good one. One more
tip.
good one.
Make sure you say your prayers before you go to bed tonight. That's the
That
tip.
was a good tip. That's the only tip you need to hear from her. That was a good one.
That's it.
One good
Give you a tip.
One good one. You
Huh?
always need one good one.
Wait a
One
minute, what
good
are you saying, Kim?
What's the tip?
give us one good one.
Who?
Oh,
Mom?
no.
Lisa,
Go ahead,
Mom.
Mom.
A good tip on what?
Or relationship. Men.
Oh no, we ain't gonna talk about men.
No,
No,
just
we
one.
can't do that.
we need because it's this is okay. So this is what we need. Give us one good tip
Just one.
that we as women need for our men.
For our
Whether
men,
yes, whether it be that we're seeking, whether we're awaiting for one, or we have one, or yeah.
or two, or three, or four.
You almost
I,
you almost made me snort. I almost laughed to the point where I almost snorted.
And scene.
give you a tip.
What good advice do you have for us women for our men?
For our men, they
For
need to
us
be more.
women, men.
Men need to be more empathetic, and they need to try and really understand that they don't think like we think, and they need to understand that their thoughts are so much different than ours. Once they get the idea that they don't think like we think, then they can understand us.
That was
Seriously.
So we need to be a little more sympathetic
No, empathetic.
or empathetic.
Yes. Not sympathetic. I don't want nobody feeling sorry for me. That's the last thing I need. I need somebody that's gonna step to the plate. and and they have to really, for me to deal with somebody, they have to be selfless. Once they become selfless, they'll be able to understand their women.
mm,
That's that's the way I see it.
period.
Period.
Big period.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic. She did.
Dropping it. I'm dropping it.
Um, and Mama Rose, all I can say is thank you again for coming. And you just like you shut us down twice.
No.
Like,
No.
Mommy.
like you blew up the Kim will tell you it. I will always invite people on, and not all the time. We will say, "Yo, you need to come on." We don't, it's very, very seldom we will be watching as it goes on. Like people are posting and people are responding and they're sending their thumbs and they're sending their hearts. And we're appreciating you. We're loving every last one of you. I can't call everybody's name, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody that has shared, it has shared 10 times already. We're up to 600 views so far. So all of you that we have touched and who has been touched, we may not know your name, you may not know ours, but you spent this moment with us and we want to thank you. We appreciate you because we know that we can't be effective where we are and where we're supposed to stand if we're not in place for when you appear at that location. It's nothing like knowing where you're supposed to be and it's closed.
Mm-hmm. But I thank y'all for having me. I got to get back to my sister though, for real.
Yes, and
Love
we're
you,
gonna say a special prayer for her before we
Yeah,
close out tonight too. Okay.
you were in my earpiece because I didn't want to disturb her roommate.
Oh,
So
yes, it's
and the
okay.
nurses and them have been in and out. So, but God is answering prayer. You know, so we're just going with what He has to come up with. That's all we can do.
That's all we can
So
do.
it's been a journey, but it's a good journey because I know He's right there the whole
Always.
time.
Amen.
So regardless of what I'm going through, what she's going through, she's my miracle. And I asked for a miracle and He gave me a miracle. So I'm just finishing out the journey, that's all. I
Amen.
mean, she beat stage 4 cancer. You can't find it nowhere in her body. She came out of 107-degree temperature,
Mm.
sepsis. All right. We just found out, though, she might have a thyroid problem right now, Lisa. So
Okay.
that was the last
Good.
thing. The neurologist gave her appointment for December. They were in here last night. The
God is
whole
good.
team. God is answering prayer. So
Amen.
we'll just
Yes, he
go with
is.
that. We'll go
All
with
right.
that.
That's
Like I
fixable.
said,
Right.
it's His plan, and we got to follow His plan. That's
That's
all.
right.
But
That's right.
people gotta learn to trust. I don't
Yes.
know how they do it without Him. I'm gonna tell you the truth, because it's not easy. This road to walk is not easy, but it wasn't easy for Him either. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to just go with it
Yes.
and just ask for the strength to get through. Like I said, one day at a time. So as
Absolutely.
long as we're doing that and trusting every day, tomorrow have its problems of its own. I'm gonna worry about today.
That's what the word says. One
That's
day
it.
at a time.
That's
Forget
right.
those things that are before. Reach for those things. I mean, pickles in your
So
behind. Reach for those things that are before. That's
that's
right.
right. So anybody out there, I would tell them keep looking up, keep looking up. That's what you gotta do. No
Oh,
choice.
we thank you so
I
much for sharing that.
I thank you for having me. My earpiece is getting ready to die. It's gonna run out, but
Love you.
Love
I'm
you.
good. I love you guys, and
Thank
this
you
is
so
beautiful,
much.
Kim. This is nice. This is a nice setup. I had no clue till Nisha says, "I think I'm gonna be on Kim's show tonight." She told me that, so I'm looking for it, and finally, she says, "I'm getting ready to go on the air with Kim," and I'm like, "Wait a minute, where is this?" On Kim's page, so I went to your face page. I did get that right. And I was surprised that I was even able to click in because my phone was doing some crazy stuff. But I was like, okay, try this, try that. They talking about restart your phone. I said, I can't do that. So I did what my grandson told me: push random buttons.
That's what Micah Drew told you.
That's what Michael told me. He said, G Mom, just push random buttons. It'll work. So I pushed random buttons, and here I am. So,
All right.
out of the mouths of babes.
Out of
Exactly.
my days.
Exactly.
And
All right.
the young
So
Shelly us.
all of you be blessed and have a good evening. I don't even know how to sign out of this.
Just
How
hit
do
the
I do it?
button that says leave room.
I don't see a button that says leave room.
You can't kick her out.
I don't see a button that says
No, they
leave
can
room.
kick her out.
Oh, okay, yes, I do. I see an X button at the bottom.
There
But
you
I
go.
thank you guys for having me. It's good seeing you. And y'all take care of yourselves. Kim, that hair is
Don't
banging,
hit any
girl.
broadcast though. Don't hit the one that says in broadcast. Don't hit that one.
No, I'm hitting the one that says leave. It's got an X on it, a red
There you
X, right?
go. That's the one.
Okay. Talk to you guys
Okay.
later. All right.
Love
Thank
Be
you
blessed.
again. Bye.
All right. Love you.
Love you too.
Wow.
you.
Your mom is the best.
Yeah, she the truth. She
Your mom's
is
the best.
like number one dream team supporter.
Yes. And it's always great when you got your mom as your cheerleader.
Absolutely.
I'm like a,
She still
uh,
be supporting.
yes.
I don't think I actually moved out of my house.
I don't think any of us have or any of us do. Yeah, I think it's our way of coming back if we need to.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm just so I'm appreciative because she left a pearl that I don't know if people realize that she left. And the pearl that she left was, even in her going through, even now, right now, she's going through, but she still felt a need to be of service to us. Mm-hmm. And she told that story, and somebody is right where she is right now. And not only that, did you notice she was in the hospital visiting? At once upon a time, you could not visit a hospital. They had to go alone. So yes,
you see how close that nurse was to her? The nurse was like,
prayers are still being answered. Even in the middle of a pandemic, blessings are still falling, even in the middle of a pandemic. If you feel or notice that you're going through, let this be an example for you. Let this encourage you to know you're coming through. Yeah. There is an exit. It looks dark right now, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and the light is not as far away as it used to be. It's very, very close today. If you think you can't make it, like Anissa said, she done changed her whole living arrangement. You got to get defrogged to walk in her house, along with what you're already going through.
I'm about to go buy one.
Yeah, I sent you the information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
it worked.
And unfortunately, yes, it's the new norm, but we don't give into it and be depressed and let it take us down. We take it, we shoulder it, and we keep going. Mm-hmm. And we can make it. We can make it.
Yeah, and make yourself a soundtrack. Find your sound. Make yourself a soundtrack, and it could be, and label it different things. Having a tough day music, praise music. I'm about to get it music.
Hey, watch it.
Uplift.
Hold on, watch it. Watch it. I'm a single woman. Watch it.
You know, I want to feel good about myself music. Whatever it is, like, make yourself some soundtracks, because music, that's why it's uplifting. God gave it to us. You know, like even when you hurting, there's some songs out there that be speaking to you. It speaks to you. Like, that's how I feel. But in the same time, have that followed by something how you want to feel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta have, like, for me, I have songs that it help cry my way out of a situation. You know what I mean? But have your soundtrack. Where's your soundtrack? Like in the movies, when you walking down the street, where's your I'm bad? Good stuff.
That's right.
I'm bad. You know, like you should have your own soundtrack. Put that bad boy in your ear and start walking. It should make you feel how you want to feel.
Okay.
Even if you don't feel that way. Music can move and change lives. Trust me.
That's why
everybody should have their own soundtrack.
Yes. And putting that in your ear, be careful what you're putting in your ear.
Facts. But I meant like also uplifting music. Like sometimes for me, sometimes I'm not saying it has to, I listen to secular music, but also I have mixed in there. I like my little I like rap. You know, ain't nothing wrong with rap. Rap is a way to express yourself. Not a thing wrong with it. But make sure you put in something that's not going to be calling you all types of names either. Because that's not going to be edifying to you in the end.
That's right.
You got to think about it taking you. So find the rap artist or song that artist has that you like, that's going to uplift you and make you feel good about yourself. Mm-hmm. Whatever you do, you should be feeling good about yourself. That should be part of you putting your mask on first, so you could bless somebody else. So when you walking down the street, you're like, yeah, I'm about to bless you. I don't care if you want it. I'm about to bless you. I'm about to change your life. I don't care. I'm about to get it in the air. But watch me go.
I think we done wrote another song. She was with us last night, wasn't she?
My Kendrick.
But that's what it's about. Find your service song, whatever it takes for you to find your purpose. You know what I'm saying? Your inroad. You know, always make that your mission. And it's nothing wrong if how you feel today is going to be different than how you feel tomorrow. It's okay. You're allowed to move, flow. Water flows. Water changes. Matter of fact, sometimes water changes directions. So it's okay to mix and move and evolve. You got to be ready in relationships. You have to be open for your partner to change. They not going to remain the same person they was today as they was yesterday. So you have to have enough room in your mind, your heart, and your life to give them space to become their very best, who they want to be. So they can be their best for you. So don't get stagnant and stuck with the old me, because the new me is the bomb. I mean, well, at least I think I'm having her. She's starting to know who she wants and what she wants, what she likes, what she needs. And so I think everybody deserves that opportunity.
Yes.
So make room. That's all.
I agree.
Make room.
I totally agree. Well, honey bun, it was such a pleasure to have you with us today. I'm trying to tell you, I have truly, truly, truly enjoyed myself with you. And
Thank you.
I know Kim has. And when we had that little special treat in that pearl drop by Mama Rose, we love it. So for all of you that know, yes, I'm so glad I did not have to go through contacting her peoples.
Today,
Because,
their people in return.
yeah, because at the end of the film, I heard in order to reach you, you need to call this number of contact. I was like, woo, thank you, Jesus. I'm so glad I know that I know that I know. And that we know
my real code agents.
And because of who she know, we got the know. So this brings you to the end of
our agents.
And her name again, Anisa Nyell Johnson. You can catch her on CW with Black Lightning. I think she has a couple more. Was it Lightning? Which one is it? Lightning?
No, Anisa Nyell.
Why do I keep Miss Johnson?
Oh,
sorry, Miss Johnson. But yes,
yeah.
So we're gonna again. We thank you for coming on such short notice, and it just, you know what? I'm gonna stop saying that on such short notice. You came at the appropriate time in our life where we needed you to step in. I'm glad you was there to step. So thank you so much for walking and kicking in the door. We understand we got to now send you back to Atlanta, which we don't want to, but we know that you're only as click and as soon as just one click away. And we appreciate you. We adore you. We thank you. If you don't know her, get to know her. You're going to want to know her. You will be blessed to know her. And always know the door is always open. You know the door is always open. You can come in whenever you want.
So Nisa, can you tell us, yay, can you tell us all the platforms where people can reach you if they need to or like to contact you or find out more information?
Yeah. Yep. You could definitely check me out through IMDb. I don't know if you know that, but that's where you can find out what films and shows and TV shows I'm on or going to be on, or that's one way. It's just my whole name. Just put my whole name in, Anisa Nyell Johnson. And my IG is at Anisa Nyell J. So ANISA NYELLJ. And Facebook, not really on much, but it's still my whole name. And then of course, Twitter is Anisa, I think it's Anisa Nyell. So it's a capital A, lowercase NISA, capital N, lowercase NYELL. So yeah, that's the best way to catch me. Or if you need me for work, you can always go to peoplestore.net. So I'm with the People Store. So, and on all of my social media accounts, you have their numbers and stuff on there too. So yeah, that's how you can get me.
So now y'all already know your sister connection. And wait a minute. Also understand that even though we may not biologically be your sister, we are sisters that are here for you. And we love and we adore you. And we want to always let you know this always stands. No matter what, you always know. No matter what. Because guess what? It gets no better than understanding this right here. Information is free. Read it, write it, count it, makes a difference for me. It's all around, everywhere. Open your eyes so you can see. Can you make it? You can make it. Can you make it? You better believe it. Can you make it? I guess I can do it. Can you make it? Yes. Oh, can you make it? Can you make it? There's nothing in this world that can keep you from your purpose. No, nothing. What you set your mind to do. Your mind to do. Availability. Oh, yes, it is. Your reach and stretch. No one to blame for your excuse. You only can blame you. But always remember, you can make it. Bye-bye.